Hello and welcome to the channel. In today's episode, I am trimming my trees and I want to show you just a little sneak peek of what the cold winter weather has done. And so when the weather has warmed up a bit, I'll be cleaning this bit up. So let's get into it. Over here in the back side of the garden, the weather went down to the 20s last night, and this is the remnants of that. This is the sweet potato vines, and it is looking worse for the wear. So as soon as the weather warms up, I'll be coming out here and I will be cutting this back. Hopefully Thursday, I'll be able to come out here, cut it back, and cover up the interior of the cattle panel a little bit more, because the cold has really taken a toll on the sweet potatoes. And then I'll see about digging them out, and hopefully they are not ruined. So we shall see. Now let me get out here and do what I got to do so I can get in the house. Excuse the growths growing on the ground. That's just slime mold. It's not bad. It's just the ground is wet and the slime mold will come up. If you ever experience that, be very careful. Once it turns brown, the spores will spread everywhere, so be careful with slime mold. But over in the orchard area, I need to start looking at my trees, cutting any limbs that are crossing, any limbs that are damaged, any limbs that I don't want growing on the tree. And I'm going to place them in a tiny little pot to see if they will root for me, and we'll move on from there. So yeah, let's get started. This is my methily plum, and it pains me to cut my methily. It really does. It pains me to cut any of my trees, in all honesty. But in order to have fruit, in order to have a healthy tree, you've got to prune it. If you have any crossing branches, any dead branches, you need to cut them out. Now I'm just going to wipe off my pruners. That was alcohol. You're going to make sure that your pruners are clean. You're not putting any disease into the wound of your plant. And so what I mean by crossing branches, I hope you all can see. I don't know what you can see. Let's take a look. Let's kind of move you in a little bit. I'm hoping you can see me because my camera is a bit of ways away from me. Now this branch right here is crossing into these three branches right here. And so what I don't want is I don't want branches to be crossing. And so you have to decide which branch you want to cut out. And excuse my snipping, y'all, it's cold. So I am going to cut out this branch right here and take it out. I'm going to cut it as close to the main branch as I can. And I am going to, as you can see here, it's been cut. I'm just going to snip it off at the bottom. I'm going to dip it in some rooting hormone, and I am going to get it into a little pot that's down there inside of the main pot. I do not know whether or not it will root for me, but I hope that it will. And then I'm just going to place it inside of that pot, and I'm going to let it just sit here over winter. I'm not going to move it inside. It's acclimated to being outside, so outside is where it's going to stay. And I'll show you the pot momentarily. And so I'm just going to go through this plant and just take a look at it. You know, are there any branches that are crossing? Are they going in a direction I don't want them to go? Does it have the shape I want it to have? And if the answer is no, I get rid of it, just like that. So that's what I'm going to do with this tree. I'm going to speed it up so that you all can see in quick time versus real time. And then I will be right back. So I'm just down here at my feet. You all cannot see me. And I am placing this stem in this pot, and I'll show you. limbs, and this is the pot that I'm placing it in, just like that. And I'll keep moving on, and I'll be right back. I didn't really take much off of this tree, but I did try to clean it up, and I was looking to make sure that there wasn't anything like trying to live on the bark like a bug or some kind. And I cut out any limbs that looked like they might have been dead. And so I'm just going to leave it alone for now. You can prune your trees twice in a year, in spring and in winter. And I've already pruned one of my trees in spring. This is the first time me actually trying to clean this up and make it look more like a goblet shape. I think I want to take this limb out, but I want to wait. I'm going to try to air layer maybe this limb and a little bit of a lower limb in the springtime. I think I'll air layer that limb and that limb. So those two I'm going to leave, but I'll do that in spring. And this is what I'm left with, just a few little limbs of the Amethylene plum. And so I'm just going to leave them there in the pot. The soil is already wet. I wet the soil before I began to start cutting. So I'm going to move on to another tree, and we will go from there. This is my Barbados cherry tree. It is unruly. It is all over the place, and I wasn't going to trim the Barbados cherry, but I think I'm going to because it's everywhere. It's doing more than I want it to do in this container. It's coming all the way out into the pathway. It seems to be a very vigorous grower. It is very happy where it is because this was a tiny itty tree when I bought it, and now it is pretty big. So I am going to start trying to train my trees and get them on the espalier wire. But right now, this is a kind of cut, figure out what to do with this tree because it's got crossing limbs that I see, and as I'm standing here, I'm thinking that I might end up air layering in the spring as well, so I'm not going to take a lot out of here. I am definitely going to espalier this to the best of my ability. And we'll see. We shall see how this goes. Excuse me for sniffing. But yeah, I'm just trying to take a look at it and see what I've got here and how I can get it cleaned up because it's doing a lot. But I know for certain I don't want all of this right here hanging out into the walkway. I need my walkways to be as clear as I can possibly get them. And I'm putting some alcohol on my rag over here. You all probably can't see. Put some alcohol on my rag and I'm wiping it off. And I'm going to get to getting because I am freezing. I cannot feel my fingers. I'm having a hard time moving around here because I can't feel my fingers. But let's see. I have a little pot over here, and because I am so cold and I can't feel my fingers, I am going to trim my peach tree another day. It's not going to be today because I'm freezing. And so as I'm looking at this tree, I know this limb in the back, I want that to be espalier going off to the left. So I'm not going to worry about that. What I do want to do, and you know what, as I'm sitting here thinking about this, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend more time air layering this versus cutting. These are some really long, big branches, and I don't want to cut it. I want to air layer. So I'm going to air layer this in the spring, and I'm not going to cut it. leave it as is. And then we'll deal with this in the spring. So I am going to go over to the peach tree, and we're going to cut some limbs off of that peach tree. Just a few, not a lot, because I do need to get a few of them in the mail, and I don't want to cut those today. This is my peach tree, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to get this bad boy trimmed up. I've already trimmed it in spring, and I did that for the purpose of making sure that I didn't have anything crossing, that I could have some really good fruit production. And I went ahead on and trimmed it. When you do trim it back, trimming it in spring and fall, those are, or wintertime, those are you get two different results of what I'm trying to say. When you're trimming them, you get two different results when you cut in spring and then when you cut in fall. So I don't want this leaning out into the walkway. And what I'm seeing is that these babies right here, I think I'm going to take these, and these are the ones I'm going to send out. So I'm not going to cut these two right here. I'm going to send pieces of those out. See, I have a hard time trimming my trees. I really, truly do. I have a hard time trimming my trees because I feel like cutting them is not the right thing to do. And you got to be careful when you're cutting your trees, because you don't want to cut off any of your fruiting limbs. And so my peach tree it fruits, but it doesn't bear a lot of fruit. And so because it doesn't bear a lot of fruit, I'm always hesitant to cut it. Really and truly I am. And I can see the new babies that have grown up. You can tell which limbs are new versus which limbs are old. The new ones are fresh, they're green. The old ones are tired, frowned, and old. They have lots and lots of bark on them. And as I'm standing here, I'm not just procrastinating just to be procrastinating. I do feel like I'm procrastinating, but it's only because I'm looking at limbs that I want to cut. And this is a whole brand new piece. All of this is brand new, and down here comes out of it is brand new. And I'm trying to figure out, is it coming off of the tree itself? Is it coming from the root? I don't know. This whole piece is just weird. Like this piece right here is crossing. It's got to come out. And I don't want to cut this. I want to air layer it because I'm in the mindset of air layering. And this whole limb right here is a really big limb. So I'm going to need to air layer this in the spring. And this is what I'm going to cut. But I'm not cutting that today because I need to get that out in the mail. And so, let's see. I know y'all are like, girl, just do it. I can't help myself. This piece right here, and again, I do apologize for snipping. This piece right here appears to be dead. So I'm going to cut that off. Okay, it's not dead. It was alive. But it looked like it was dead. So I'm going to place this top portion looked dead to me. So I'm going to put some rooting hormone on that. And we're going to get it in this pot down here on the ground. And we'll see what happens to that. But because it was looking dead, I cut it out. Let's see. Oh, and that's crossing. We can't have that. We got to get that out of there. It's crossing. It's crossing. So we're going to get this out. And this is a brand new limb. But we cannot have any limbs crossing. Oh, and I feel so bad about it. Guys, y'all don't understand my pain. I don't like, I know it's necessary, but I don't like it. Oh, which one do I take? Okay, I'm going to take this one. I'm going to be strong. Just be strong and do it, girl. There we go. And I'm going to put some See, this is green. This is a new one that just grew. So, and it looks like it's got fruiting buds on it. So I hope I did the right thing. We'll see. I'm not gonna do too many of those, that's for sure. But it was crossing, so I had no choice in the matter. You don't want your limbs to be crossing and rubbing. That could cause disease, and you don't want that. Let's see. And I am going to espalier this in the spring, get these somehow trained up and going that way. I see a piece in the back that looks like it's dead. So I'm going to cut this. Cut that. Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, that looks dead. So I'm going to put that over there. That would be some good kindling in the chimney. See, it just takes me a minute, y'all. It just takes me a minute. So this piece looks dead. Cut this out. Yep, kindling. And I'm in the back here. I know you all cannot see. I apologize. I'm just trying to make sure that I am. Yeah, that looks like it's dead. Cutting out all of the dead pieces and any crossing pieces we can't have. So let's see. Okay, so not a lot of cutting, and that is because I've got two major branches that are going to come out. This branch and this one down here. I'm going to air layer this one, and I promise this one to a friend. So that's going to come in that way. Then I won't have this in the walkway. And excuse me, the sniffling. And then this one, it looks pretty worse for the wear, but it'll be fine. I will I will espalier that. So not a lot of cutting, and that's fine by me. I'm going to take one more look at it, make sure that nothing's touching, nothing's crossing. The ones that I'm going to cut out, let's see, excuse me, the ones I'm going to cut out, I will leave, and then we will be good to go. It doesn't look like much, but for me, I have to visualize it. So I'm going to go back in the house, y'all. I'm going to close the soil around these babies. Just by pinching and pushing down. I'm going to place this little pot right inside here, and I'm going to leave it right there. And I'm going to the house because I am freezing, and I do apologize for all the indecisiveness, but I want to make sure that I am doing the right things and making the best use of what I have. And again, it doesn't look like much, but I will be removing this here and this here, and that'll clear up the whole front, and then I'll espalier what's left. And then in the spring, once I espalier it, I will end up clipping some more. So for right now, this is good. So all right, everybody, let me wrap this up. Thank you for joining me quickly in the garden. I do apologize for the indecisiveness. It's freezing. It is going to be down into the 20s. I think it's in the 30s right now. My hands are so cold, and I can't do anything else. I can't think straight. I got to go in the house and get a nice hot cup of hot chocolate. So until the next time, I hope to see you either in my kitchen or my very cold food forest, or in the garage greenhouse, because that's coming up real soon. Y'all know what to do. If you have not done it already, hit that like button, share the video, leave a comment, and I hope to see you real soon. I've got to go. Bye, y'all. It's cold. Ooh.